Introducing the Mofos After Dark.
Give him 2 fingers and a fist.
Oh my God! You guys, it's awful.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
The Mofos After Dark. Oh, yeah.
It's our 420 edition, Mofos After Dark.
Hey, I don't want to give away any names, but I just want to say this, that, you know, when we were down in San Diego, we had people flying in from all over the place, right? They're coming in from everywhere you can imagine. And I don't know, maybe because my name is Green Guys and I love you guys for doing it, but everybody that wanted to fly back on the airplane, they couldn't take it with them, and guess who has it now? So I just want to say shout out and thanks to everybody that I got like bags, I got containers, bags, gummies. I mean, I'm ready for I think tomorrow I'm going to pass out tomorrow at 420. So just letting you guys know, if you don't see me tomorrow, that's what happened.
Yeah, Green's at the airport. He's like, preliminary security check. Step on up. I got you. You know, don't ask, don't tell. Just drop it in the hat. We got you. I think we got a little crazy last week.
A little. That was a lot.
Yeah, Twitter rugged us twice. Right now, hey, you know what, man? You know what I really like is maybe bringing back some of those OG strains. Like, it's all this name slap stuff, like wedding cake, super duper, you know, some crazy shit. What happened to the old purple? Yeah, but the purple Kush and the GDP and the OG and the cherry pie. Remember all the OG, the good. Dude,
I was telling somebody that in ST and NFT Con. I was like, man, why don't we bring back, like, you know, chocolate tie,
Blue Dream,
skunk,
you know?
Yeah, but make it, you know, make it as potent as stuff.
You know why those strains are not here?
Why? What happened, 40?
Because of the way that they grow. So you know, now that cannabis is becoming more of a commodity and it's being built on commerce and less on craft, a lot of those strains don't yield what other strains yield. And because a lot of those strains don't have the look and the color and the high THC content, that's why those strains aren't being grown. That's the real reason.
If you get somebody that can, and I forget what the name of the people are. I just lost my mind. But where they, you know, yeah, well, no, it's the other thing where they're they're like a scientist and they, you know, they take
a geneticist.
Geneticist, there you go, and maybe he can, you know, make something that has that similar, you know, look and feel, but as more potent or something like that, you know.
I mean, that's great, but to scale that you know, you're talking about, you know, R&D. You need canopy. Do you grow it outdoors? Do you grow it indoors? Do you do light depth? There's all these other functions of it. Like, I don't agree that a lot of these strains aren't around no more. Like, there's some old school strains that are fucking the bomb. And if you,
remember, yeah, like. Hey, like 40 times. Remember Blue Dream 8-week strain?
Oh my
God! You a good yield.
Bro, you know who carries the good Blue Dream? You know who carries the good Blue Dream is Pac Stone.
Pac Stone's got the OG Blue Dream. I remember that.
Yeah, Pac Stone has some good Blue Dream.
Man, and you know other
Master. That's a sativa, bro.
I know, but it's
we get killer Blue Dream out here, bro. We get some killer Blue Dream.
I think the good thing about the Blue Dream is it's instead of 10 weeks, it's 8 weeks. And you get a big yield. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are sleeping on that old school.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, with corporate cannabis, you know, the difference between 10 weeks and 8 weeks is, you know, millions of dollars.
Exactly. That's right. So they gotta,
like, you know, like they don't want to do that, and you know, so it's all a bunch of politics now. But
sure,
that's the reason why that shit's, you know, that's not there. Plus, you know, your gelatos, your gelato 41s, and your different strains like that have really good color on them. And so that's why it's like that. But if you find you like a really dope OG cultivator that's down to do it, you might get you a small batch of it.
Yeah, I remember the straight up platinum, you know, the Master Kush, the Bubba. I'm a sucker for some good Bubba.
Mofos After Dark, bringing you the laughs and the cringe.
But not since I was in the Army have I heard a more disturbed conversation than what I just witnessed.
You're listening to the Mofos After Dark. Oh, yeah. If you're in the Twitterverse, tune in for our Mofo After Dark recording live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitter Spaces. Follow at Mofo NFT on Twitter and set alerts for showtime.
There was, probably 100 projects that approached me at the San Diego conference, and really two of them really stood out, like really hit home with me personally. And 40 Tons was one of them. I got to meet the creator and hear his story about how 40 Tons came about, and I thought, you know what, we're having our 420 episode of Mofos. Let's have 40 Tons come up. Never been talked about information. So he's going to be leaking some alpha. 40 Tons, GM.
Man, thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure meeting you too at San Diego NFT Con and getting to meet all your team and getting a blue chimp while I'm there. Just to tell you, like, one of my buddies that I was there with, one of the guys on the development team, he does the marketing for us. He was telling me about blue chimps a couple weeks back, right? And he was like, man, there's this group that's like Shark Tank, and they vet projects, and you should go on it. And I didn't really pay much mind to it at that moment because I was just busy at the time. So then I go to NFT, San Diego NFT with him, and bro, he hits me on the shoulder and he points up and he's like, bro, that's who I was talking to you about. These are the guys. I'm like, oh shit, well, let's go talk to them. You know what I mean? And then from there, I started talking to them, and then we just built this really awesome relationship. So it was like super organic how 40 Tons even got to the blue chimps, which that is a story. You know what I mean? And we could share that story, years from now. So much love, much respect on what you guys are doing over there. So 40 Tons. Let me just give you guys a little bit of background on who we are and what we are, and then I'll get into the project as much as I can. So 40 Tons is a social impact, Black female-owned cannabis company. And we're dedicated to bringing more diversity and inclusion of BIPOC communities into the space and giving second chances to those with past cannabis convictions while advocating for the 40,000 prisoners still locked up. My business partner, Corvain Cooper, had a life sentence without the possibility of parole over a nonviolent cannabis offense. And the only reason why he's even free today is because President Trump, on his last day of office, gave him a clemency, literally in the last hour. And when I go to drop the project, I'm going to have Corvain come on Blue Chips and actually share with you the story of that day, because that day is it's incredible. It's a movie just in and of itself. But he was locked up over the plant. So what you and I and everybody here and everybody that was on that boat and everybody that was at that beach house was smoking freely, thousands of people are still incarcerated over it, and my partner included was one of them. In addition, I served time over the plant, and I served a little less than 5 years total. About 4.5 years of my life I gave to the system over something cannabis related. And so everybody that's involved in our project is system impacted. Everyone that's a part of our project has dealt with the system, whether their family members were incarcerated or they themselves were incarcerated. So we're a true cannabis brand that is for the people, by the people. And so over the last year and 3-4 months, we've been building this brand called 40 Tons. And 40 Tons was born because the newspaper article, when he got sentenced to life in prison, it said California man sentenced to life in prison over 40 tons of weed. And it was all bullshit, right? You know what I mean? We did sell weed without a license. We did sell weed, in the black market, but it wasn't to the extent in which that they said. But because Corvain decided to go to trial, they ended up punishing him, and he caught a life sentence due to a technicality. That technicality was 1 pound of weed he had a felony for, and his second felony was a bottle of codeine cough syrup without a prescription. So those were the two predicated felonies that ended up getting him the life sentence on the third felony when he ended up getting caught 5 to 6 years later after we did this. The crimes that we committed selling weed were 5 to 6 years ago, when we were all busted. And so there was no weed ever recovered. There was no wiretaps. There was no where they caught a amount of weed. It was all just circumstantial and what someone else had said that was what we sold. And so it was really an injustice. And so we're not here trying to say that we are innocent. We sold weed. We're just big advocates that the punishments don't fit the crimes. And there should be no reason that we're serving all these large periods of prison time over a plant that we're now making billions of dollars on. And that's what our mission is really about. It's about that. And so we started the cannabis brand. It's been a blessing. Nas, the rapper, did a documentary on cannabis in Black America about 4 or 5 months before Corvain ended up getting the clemency. That gave us national attention because they featured Corvain's story in that. Then when he came home, the cannabis industry kind of rallied behind us. And so we built this really incredible brand that gives back to the community. And so this last weekend, we did what's called the Can I Get a Second Chance Cannabis Career Conference, where we bring a bunch of brands together, free resumes, free LinkedIn optimizations, free headshots, an expungement clinic to help get your records expunged, breakout sessions, and just a plethora of resources to people like us. And a bunch of brands showed up, from Herbal to Stizzy, 710 Labs, Pax, Vertosa, Paxstone. I mean, these are massive companies out of California. And so they all came out along with a bunch of other equity companies, and we provided jobs and opportunities, and we helped folks get back into an industry that we help build. And so that's what our whole mission is about when helping get the cannabis prisoner out of jail. But then once they get out of jail, how do we keep them out? How do we stop recidivism? And at 40 Tons, we believe opportunity and education is the way to do that. And so that's what we do with our cannabis career conferences. We also have a cannabis prisoner give back program where we have these t-shirts that 100% of the profits go back to the cannabis prisoner. And we have a few other programs that are restorative justice related, social impact related for the cannabis industry folks. So, like everybody else, as the NFT and Web3 came around, we're like, we need to be in this industry. And so we launched a free NFT project called 40 Tons Flip of a Potcoin. Potcoin is a cannabis cryptocurrency that's been around for a while. And so we did a collaboration with them on a free NFT project just to get people to understand what NFTs even are. This was last year. But now we have a new project that's coming out, and I'll kind of pause there for a second. But I just wanted to tell you our story about how we even came into existence. And so we want to be to the cannabis industry what the industry was meant to be. We want to sell good product at good pricing with a good mission behind it. We know there's corporate cannabis coming in there, but that's not us. We're for the people, by the people. We're legacy operators. And we want to give opportunities to those that have been impacted by the war on drugs, specifically cannabis. So that's our story. And I appreciate you geeks for letting us come in and share that story.
Yeah, 40. Listen, I got to tell you, and we got more to talk about here, guys. If you're just tuning in, just want to reset real quick. This is our Mofo After Dark 420 edition. I thought it'd be a fun time to come and talk about, what's minting on 420, what events are happening on 420, and then also maybe give a little bit of inspiration on 420 on, maybe why we celebrate and, the freedoms that we do have now and why they're important. Go ahead, Maniac. We can take a couple quick questions, guys. Be sure to retweet the room. We can't pin any post, so be sure you retweet the room. If you're just tuning in, let's get some eyes in here. This story is very powerful. I've heard it, and there's a lot that 40 is not said yet that I think we need to get into. But let's take a couple of quick questions, guys. Retweet the room. Maniac, he's got his mic off. What's up, Maniac?
What's up? Sorry I'm late, but yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of like fucking blown away at what I'm hearing right now. Like, that you can get a life sentence for having some freaking ganja and some damn codeine cough syrup. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's a technicality, bro. So you guys have heard of the 3 strikes law, right?
Sure.
Right.
So the three strikes law works where if you have three of the same type of felonies, you get a life sentence. That's why you hear of the guy that gets 25 to life over stealing a piece of pizza, right? Is because of that very law. That law was meant for violent offenders. But, let's say you sold a pound of weed 5 years ago, you get a felony. Let's say you do 6 months in jail for that. Let's say 2 years later, you catch another felony where you sold 3 pounds of weed. The third time that you sell any amount of weed that constitutes a felony, it's a life sentence.
Fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely it's very powerful, Maniac. You're gonna hear a lot more, and I'm very excited to kind of dig into the meat and potatoes here, guys. Going into 420, there's really no better way to kind of set the tone for the special holiday we're going into. And for me, 420 is kind of like the Super Bowl. It's kind of like Christmas. I take those days off and enjoy the day. Let's go to a couple of questions, quick questions. Canadian, then we got Anton and Green Guys. Canadian, go ahead, shoot. What's cracking?
So this is awesome. This is awesome. I love this project. It reminds me so much of Kid Cannabis. If anybody hasn't seen that movie, it's a great movie. But I was just wondering, like, I know it's really unfortunate that, and I love that you guys are trying to do good for these people that have been incarcerated. But are you guys giving back and filling these guys' canteens so they can be buying their goodies while they're locked up and making sure that they have the best of their time in there?
Bro, not only are we doing that, bro, but like absolutely, we get phone calls and I don't know if I can't promise you guys this, but I get phone calls from about 15 of the cannabis prisoners that are serving between 5 and 25 years literally on a weekly basis. We're tapped in with these people because we are these people. And so we do a lot for the cannabis prisoners. So if you go to 40tons.co/shop, 40tons.co/shop, there's a button that says prisoners. Those are individual prisoner shirts. 100% of the proceeds of those shirts. Now, we're not trying to make $1 million. Obviously, the people that buy each one of those prisoner shirts are probably family members, people that know them. So it's not like it's a ton of people. However, 100% of those proceeds goes directly back to the cannabis prisoner. So like Luke Scarmazzo, we just sent like 100 and something bucks to. Hope for Humberto Ramirez. I just did Tons Talk, which is our weekly Tuesday Instagram show that we do. We just interviewed his wife. We sent like, I don't know, like 70 or 80 bucks to him the other day, and we let it accumulate. So absolutely, we do exactly what you're saying. And I'm working on the bigger companies donating bigger money, and then we can give these guys bigger money. The project that this NFT project is about to launch, you guys are going to love, because a lion's share of the NFT goes back to the individual prisoner. And I don't know if I'm spoiling it. I'll let Geeks kind of.
Yeah, let's hold off. We don't want to give them all the alpha up front. Canadian is jumping the gun. 40.
But you're gonna love that if that's what you're about. But yes, to answer your question, and sorry for being long-winded, 100% we give money back to the prisoners. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's not all, Canadian. We'll get more into it, but you're just going to be blown away for when you hear a little bit more about 40's story and what he and the actual groundwork. Not to mention the money on the books and the money that helps their families, but some other things that they're doing that really impacted me when I heard it. So let's move right down the line here. Let's go to Anton, GM.
Hey, so yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be listening to this alpha right now. I just gotta say that I'm like super impressed. Personally, I usually don't talk about it much at all, but when I was 17, I got in trouble with the marijuanas, and literally affected my life for 10 years. And anytime I hear anything about this and people doing good to fix the way that the system is, it's awesome, because that kind of help wasn't there for me when I was younger, but now it is. And so kudos to you guys, doing good work out there.
Thank you, Anton. I appreciate it, man. And I'm sorry that you have to go through that bullshit, man. We had a guy that did 30. He got a cannabis offense 30 fucking years ago. 30, bro. he got and it's been screwing with him for the last 30. It was like 28 years. But so 28 years ago, he caught a cannabis offense very similar to you. Hasn't had any good jobs. Has been, it's screwed him his whole life. Came to our Get a Second Chance Cannabis Career Conference. Got hired on the spot. The dude started like
That's
this
awesome.
is a grown ass man, dude, like crying, bro, and like he made us cry because it was like it was just dope that we were able to help give him an opportunity,
No, 100%. And I mean, because of all that, man, I had to grind like through a lot of those jobs that those people had to, can only get. And it's hard for people to make a living that way. And, now that it's more out in the open, like it's easier for me to talk about it, but you kind of you gotta hide it, for the longest time. And now that it's like out there and open and it's crazy that the government's fucking taxing this now because like really, like now all of a sudden they can make money off of it, but people that did back in the day are still struggling. But it's nice that it's coming around. So I just wanted to say kudos.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. We feel you, brother, because we lived it. You know what I mean? But we took a shit sandwich and we took lemons and turned it into lemonade.
Hey, the thing is too, because I was set so far behind, it made me grind like that much harder. So like, I got a lot to show for my life now, and I think that that's like a lot of people that came from that, like had to try harder and have a lot to show for. I have a lot of people that were out back in the day doing things, and they're like really successful now. They're not here. Some of them aren't here, but a lot of them came back up, and that's that like Rugs the Riches story. It's just freaking awesome to see. Other thing I just wanted to go ahead and wrap up off that. We do have a giveaway for a blockchain Hall of Fame that we had to roll over. We couldn't figure out how to do it, so once you all figure it out, we're gonna do a blockchain Hall of Fame from the Moz space. So let's go.
Let's go, guys. Thank you, Anton. We got some more hands up, guys. We're gonna roll. I definitely want to get through this AMA, so we're gonna hit Green Guys. Has had his hand up. Then we're gonna go real quick back to a couple of more points from 40 tons, and we'll kick it back to Bread and Canadian Crypto. GM, by the way, Bread, good to see you over here. Long time no see. Green, so Green, what's up? GM, how are you, sir? Green Guys, by the way.
GM. That's why we remember this guy. He's so passionate about what he does, man. It's crazy. And you've stuck in my mind this entire weekend and this whole week because I really wanted to connect with you and reach out to you and do some work with you because I work with the Pot Brothers at Law and they do something similar. You seem to be a little bit more aggressive, but they've gotten many people out of life sentences for this plant, and it's out of control. And what's even crazier is 8 hours ago I posted a picture of me and Rick Ross, Freeway Rick Ross. Right. And I met this guy. He's a really good guy, really good friend of mine now. And, we're talking. I didn't really know who he was until I met him and we started talking. And he's telling me, he served he had a life sentence. It wasn't for weed. It was for crack cocaine. He's basically the guy that introduced crack cocaine to the United States. Nothing to be proud of. But he went in there. He got the 3 strikes law and he found a loophole to the 3 strikes law and was able to appeal his way out of prison. So he spent, instead of in his entire life, he should still be in there now. He ended up getting out after like 20 years or something like that, right? But the sad thing is that there's people in there right now that are sitting there still for the plant. And I'm glad that Freeway Rick Ross got out. It's unfortunate what he did, doing that thing. But he's wrote this other book and showing people how to be successful, and he's completely changed his life all the way around. So it's definitely possible. But he got out and he's serving crack cocaine to people. I mean, stuff that kills you. I mean, it's infesting our cities and our schools and everything else. And these people are smoking weed and they're sitting in a cell right now. And the craziest thing I'm thinking about, right, is that these CEOs that are sitting there watching them, right, they're bringing them in weed. You can get weed in prison, but they're in prison for the rest of their life for smoking weed. But the CEO that's supposed to be holding them in there, making sure they're, incarcerated, is sitting there bringing them a joint so they can get paid on the outside. It's a crazy, messed up system, and I am so glad that I met you because I really want to work with you. And I know you said you just had some kind of project or you had some kind of meeting with some people and helping them out. I've got like, I can't do much, but I've got like 20 computers sitting in my garage right now, just sitting there, and I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do with them. So if any of these people that that are part of this thing, if they need, I got you, bro.
sorry to interrupt you, man, but Last Prisoner Project is doing like this computer give program for like the people that come out of jail that need a computer. I'm gonna connect you with them, and maybe
No
you could
way.
donate. You could donate those computers. Like the person that's running that program is my friend personally, so I know exactly. Like we'll put those to good use because I mean, shit, how many times? Like we need computers, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
us on this, like when we, you know what I mean? When we start getting into business or doing whatever shit, my kid needs a computer. So, you can only imagine the people coming home from prison needing a computer. So, just send me a DM.
Yep.
If you guys can all follow the page 40 Tons NFT, send me a DM with your emails and your contacts, and I'll make sure that I reach back out to you. And like, believe me, there's a ton of work that we can all do together. And it doesn't require money. You know what I mean? Like if you got money, great. But if you only got your time, you know, and your fingers, you can sign petitions, you could share messages. There's a lot you could do for these people. So much love and respect for that. Sorry to cut you off, bro, but you just juiced me up because there's a computer program right now that they're building right now for the cannabis prisoners.
Yeah, that no, 100%. I got that for sure. I'll reach out to you. I'll get those into the right hands. Let's do it, man. They're just sitting here in my garage, and I'm like, what am I going to do with that? When you said that, I'm like, they might need a computer when they get out. So I got that for sure.
100%. Guys, any advantage? By the way, 40 Tons. I'd like to talk about, you know, some of those things that you do that are so simple but so powerful. Guys, if you're just tuning in, it's our 420 edition.
The proceeding was presented by the Mofos. Thanks for listening to Mofos After Dark. Oh, yeah.